Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from the biblicalnutritionist.com. And today we're talking about how changing your microbiome can change your life. And today I have with me a good friend, Kristi Emmons, and she's going to share with us her story of how she changed her life just by changing her microbiome. And she's going to share with us how she did it, where she was, why she knew she needed help, and how she was able to get the help that she needed to totally transform her life. It's an incredible story, and she's a very special person. And I know you're going to enjoy it. She's also going to share with us what supplements specifically she used for this transformation. We all know food is a big element of this change, but sometimes you're at the point where I changed the food and I'm still not getting the results. And therefore, we need to know, okay, of all the millions of supplements on the market, which ones work for the microbiome? So we're going to get into that as well. Well, thank you for letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health. And it does include being confident in the kitchen, confident with your health, but most importantly, confident in understanding how much God loves you, and He's loved you from the moment of conception. Let's get started today. This is Christy. Welcome, Christy.
Hey, Annette, and welcome to all of you who are joining us by video. Thank you. And thank you, Annette, for the opportunity to be here for this episode. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory, you can probably tell from my accent, I am from the South. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised. Annette and I were just talking before we started recording about the fact that for whatever reason, the South is known for large portions of what we eat and not always making the best food choices. And I definitely fell into that category. I grew up with some great family Southern cooks, and we didn't always know the priority of our food choices and how it made us feel. So over the years, as my microbiome and my metabolism started to change, with that came a lot of changes in me as well. So I was approaching that phase in life. Many of you women can probably relate to this, when I was going through a lot of change. Perimenopause and menopause really hit me hard. And I started to suffer with many issues, gut health being a big one, brain fog being a big one, weight gain being a big one. And I could go on, but I would say that those were the three that were impacting me at the greatest level. And so I went to my doctor to talk with him about all of the things I was struggling with. And this is not in any way to negate the need of medicine. I think that we are so blessed to have research and medication available to us. But I knew in the back of my mind that before I went down that road, I did feel an obligation, especially as a faith-driven woman. I did feel an obligation to seek out a holistic option first. And Annette, I had my grandmother. She was the most precious Christian lady. And she had said to me from the time I was little how God had made the earth perfectly. And for any disease or sickness, that He had created something on this earth to help heal and restore our bodies, whether it be a plant, a spice, an herb, a flower. There was something here to help us. And so, as I started to search for options, I kept hearing my granny's voice in the back of my head telling me that story. And so I did specifically set out to find an alternative that would be organic, plant-based, and holistic. I do believe in divine intervention, and I don't think that this was circumstantial in any way. Because within a few days after my visit to my doctor, and I had not filled the prescriptions that he gave me, they were still sitting on my desk, and I just could not force myself to get the prescriptions filled. Two friends of mine reached out to me that I love and trust and have a lot of respect for. And they wanted to talk to me about a business that they were helping bring to the Mid-South area and wanted my opinion on the business. So they started talking to me about it. And when they got to the type of products, they were plant-based, they were organic, and they were holistic. And my ears tuned in really well when they started talking to me about the products. And Annette, I will be really honest with you. At this point, my symptoms, my struggles were so intense that I was having a hard time keeping up with my work. I had always been a very high-performing, multitasker, type A personality that thrived in the midst of a lot of things. But at this phase of my life, I was unable to keep up mentally, physically, emotionally. And not only that, it was affecting my relationship with my husband, because when I did get home at the end of the day, I was so mentally fatigued, so emotionally and physically fatigued that I had nothing in my well. I had nothing left within me to give to the person that mattered most, to my husband. So I was struggling and I was desperate for a solution. So I said to my friends, I'm like, let's set the business discussion aside. I need to know about these products and how quickly can I get them. So I did order the products, and there were just, 4 of them actually is where I started, and was very consistent, very intentional. And that was really the first change that I made, was starting on these products. Within about 3 weeks, the first thing that I experienced was being at work and my brain fog started to lift, which was very encouraging to me. The second thing I began to notice were the changes in my cravings. I was not craving sugar. I was not wanting those syrupy sodas anymore. In fact, if I did try to drink it, it seemed like my palate even was changing. It didn't taste the way it used to me. So my microbiome was definitely starting to change, and it was affecting in a positive way. It started to change the choices that I made with my diet. Nothing drastic, but small changes can add up to big results. So that is one thing that I began to notice too. The other thing I began to notice, as my microbiome was getting healthier, it started to change my mental energy and my physical energy. And so then at the end of my work day, I did have the bandwidth still left within me that I could be present for my husband. I did want to sit in the kitchen and have dinner and engage with him and ask about his day. And I know these sound like things that we should always do, and they are things that we tend to take for granted until they don't happen so easily anymore. And that's exactly where I was at this phase of my life. It was all the things that were important to me. I couldn't seem to function in a fluid, natural way anymore. So my microbiome really started impacting the functionality of my brain, the choices I was making with my diet. It started impacting my sleep. That was another thing I was really struggling with. And then I guess the big eye opener for me was the more I began to learn about my microbiome function, was that, especially for us women, as we get older and our metabolism changes, Our hormones are changing and usually way out of whack, way out of balance. But when all of that started equalizing, because my microbiome was getting healthier and it was functioning at an optimal level, so my hormones started regulating, and it was just like this ripple effect that all of these things started changing. And the aha moment for me was that those extra pounds that I had been carrying, that I had been unable to shed no matter what I did or what I didn't eat or how much I exercised, what I found is that it was actually inflammation in my body. And so as my microbiome started to heal and my gut started to restore and produce everything in a proper, balanced way, it all the inflammation in my body started to heal. And my clothes started fitting differently, and my face wasn't as puffy. The scale, when I would weigh, did not necessarily reflect a huge amount of weight loss. And that just goes back to my point that a lot of times what we are carrying is inflammation. It's not the pounds on a scale that we need to be looking at. We need to be addressing the inflammation in our bodies and how can we heal that from within. So those are really the things that started to change for me. And I guess at the end of the day, it has been such an amazing journey to see how I went from feeling blah to really now I'm feeling so much better than I have in years. I just turned 60 in March, and I haven't felt this good in so many years. And it's just really an example of how our gut health, our microbiome is the house of where everything resides for our health. And how we can control that holistically. And so I guess the moral of my story is that my grandmother was right.
She certainly was. She was very wise, and it makes sense. It makes sense. God will give us everything we need for healing. And
Yes,
I'm hearing that even more from Dr. Tony Jimenez at Hope for Cancer. He says the same thing. God keeps revealing more and more of where he's going to show us the healing is for what we're dealing with today.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you have such a transformation. Just looking at your pictures of before and after, you can see it. You can know what you don't even have to think, well, I think she's saying, no, you can see the change. And that's why I love for people to understand how vital the microbiome is. It is so incredibly important. So you added in the supplements. Did you also make any changes in your eating? Because you just said, okay, cravings are gone. That changes desires for certain foods. What else did you change besides this, adding in the supplements, which made the huge shift? And let me just point out here, sometimes a person can start with the food and get to a point of healing. And then they're like, I just need something else to get me over the edge. Other people will start with the supplements to get them into that healing and the mindset. So it's like, you know what? Now I want to feed my body well. And then it takes them to that next level. So you did supplements first and then food second. So what would you say you changed in your eating plan?
Yeah, definitely. Like we said before, my cravings did start to change, so it helped me make better choices. When I would go to the fridge, instead of pulling out, ice cream or grabbing cookies or something sweet to eat, I was able and really without hesitation to grab a healthier choice, whether it be a piece of fruit. Or another thing is that I mentioned as well, I was easily able to get rid of things like sodas, loaded teas, things that have a lot of chemicals in them. and and replace that with a better choice. Even just water alone. I was reading the other day a statistic that I had did a double take, and it said that 75% of Americans are significantly dehydrated. And I know that we talk about that a lot, drinking water. But Annette, that really was another great thing that I became very conscious about was my water intake, staying hydrated. It's flushing out those toxins. It's keeping my body operating as cleanly as it possibly can. I also eliminated fast food. And I will tell you, my husband and I were on the road a few months ago, and we were hungry, and we were in some remote areas, so there weren't a lot of options. We got off on this exit. We went through a fast food restaurant, and we ordered just stuff that we had not put in our bodies in quite a long time. And boy, did I regret it, because my gut was not ready to accept that again, because it's clean and it's healed, and it doesn't, we are what we put into our bodies, and that old saying, garbage in, garbage out. And it was just like this quick reminder of, whoa, my body is no longer conditioned to accept the garbage, which is a good thing. So that was one thing that we did remove was, we really don't do fast food. We really don't do processed food when we shop at the grocery stores. That trick that we all hear about, shopping the outside of the store, not the inside of the store. We try to buy organic when we possibly can. I'm very blessed. My husband loves to cook. Cooking is very therapeutic for him. So that's become something that we enjoy together, is how can we cook in a healthier way, focusing more on fish, chicken, and eliminating some of the other meats. I'm not a vegetarian. I require a lot of protein. I will say that that's something else that has worked for me as a woman in her 60s. That I think sometimes that when we try to do dieting, that we can remove the wrong things. And I do think that protein is very essential for women, especially as we age, with regards to our bones, our joints, and just how our body is functioning. So we do eat a lot of protein in our house. And those are some of the basic things: avoiding processed food, avoiding fast food, trying to keep the fruits and vegetables around. And again, still, that's as well as we try to eat, I still find that there is a definite need and a definite benefit for our supplementation.
Oh, I so agree. And I also know that the supplements helped create the healing that made the food more effective.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That's what people need to recognize. And even the fact that you added in better hydration, that increased the effectiveness of the supplements, because supplements need a lot of hydration to work their best.
Yes.
So you started getting the healing from the supplements, and then you had a better mindset to make better choices. And at the same time, you increased your hydration so that both would work better. So flushing out the toxins, improving the microbiome with the extra hydration, with the supplements, and then you're able to escalate the benefit of the food choices you're now making. And that's quite a recipe for health. So
it really is. And I think that that's the most important thing is a lot of times, because I was there too, I'm like, well, I see something happening for other people, but that will never happen for me. But why not? Why can't it? Because small changes, like I said earlier, small changes will begin to give big results. And there is such a ripple effect. It was just like when I started having more mental energy and more physical energy and less cravings and better sleep and, a happier mood. It was just like all of this, all of these tiered benefits just continued to mount. And it did impact my, not just my physical health, but my mental health. And, it wasn't long into this process that my husband specifically noticed a difference in me. And he was like, hey, if those products and these habits are making such a difference in you, well, I want to do it as well.
Yeah.
And that made it even more exciting and easier because now we were in a partnership, and we could do it together. And we all know when you have a partner in any type of program or regimen, it makes it more fun and it makes it easier. And so it has just really become a lifestyle for us.
Yeah, that is so amazing. So I am so excited for you and the way this has worked for you. But the thing is, it's not just a Christy result. It is a result that so many people are getting, which is why it is such a very popular supplement in the industry. And so you started with, well, just the mentobiotics, right?
Yes. Yeah, I started with the mentobiotics, and that has been a game changer. It really helped, again, to start restoring and healing my gut. And Annette, I don't know. I must have missed this in school when I was growing up. I did not understand that the majority of my neurotransmitters, like GABA and dopamine and serotonin, I thought that those were produced in my brain because that's where they are working, is in my brain. But now I know that they are being produced in my gut. So when my gut was hijacked, there was no way that it could adequately give me those feel good transmitters. So yeah, that's where I started, was with the mentobiotics, and that kick started these changes for me. And then one of the other critical products that I really helped that really helped me is a quad biotic. I had never heard of that before. Quad obviously meaning four. And so it had a pre, pro, post, and phytobiotic, and they all did very specific things. And one of them helped with my cravings, and one of them helped with bloating and inflammation. And boy, did I really start to see how that impacted the puffiness, the visceral fat, which for most of us, if I don't know what you can see on the screen, but I'm pointing down here to my belly, because for most of us, that's where we're going to carry that visceral fat. And those were some things that I really started to see decreasing. So yeah, those are just a couple of the things that really seem to make a difference for me.
All right. Well, that is so true. And many people are thinking, yes, I understand the visceral fat. They're starting to feel their stomach as you're saying that. And I love the supplement specifically. I love the purity. And I also only support or promote products that I know have the integrity and the pure ingredients. And they have to work. So yes, I'm all about
Absolutely.
changing the food. I'm all about understanding your beliefs and how they need to be in alignment and agreement with God's word. But sometimes
Yes.
we need help, and sometimes supplements are the right answer. In fact, there's rarely a day goes by that I am not taking my supplements, and it is so necessary. And
Yeah, I think so too. And an analogy that I use with a lot of people, and this may sound funny coming from a female, that I really don't know a whole lot about car mechanics, but I do know that, for instance, tomorrow I'm taking my car in for an oil change and to have the tires rotated. And so if we know that our vehicles require maintenance more than going to the gas station and filling them up with fuel, they do require maintenance and extra effort to keep them operating at a premium and to keep them operating over a span of time. So to me, it's just an easy analogy to say, well, then why wouldn't we recognize that our bodies, which are also very fine-tuned works of art that God created, it seems very fitting that we would need and want to do maintenance, and which I translate into supplementation, just like we would take our vehicles in for servicing, to have the oil changed, to have the tires rotated, to make sure everything is running smoothly, because our bodies are very intricate creations. So I like to use that analogy for people as well.
And it is so good. We can all relate to that. Well, Christy, I just want to say thank you so much. We will put links down below to the supplements. And if people want to connect with you, I'll put a link to that as well so they can connect with you. And just to see, as we've been putting the pictures up on the screen of your transformation and more about your life, people can see who you really are and they can connect with you that way. Thank you so much for giving us your time. You've hit on several important topics. You've hit on the bloating, the inflammation, menopause issues, and even that your husband is seeing relief as well. This is not just a woman product. This is a family product. And with kids, kids are such a passion of mine, just for them to be able to function in school, be able to think well, but not be intimidated or even just, just sitting back when they know they have the answer, they just can't get it out of their mind, and to be able to grab that answer and to give it quickly and to respond correctly, and just to gain that confidence of knowing, yes, I can do this. I am smart. I am strong, and I can do this. And scripture calls us to be strong and courageous. And sometimes strong and courageous is not just in the Lord, but it's in making the right decisions. And so knowing, okay, Lord, is this of you? Is this something I should do? So recognizing that. Well, Christy, thank you again for being a part of this. It has been a joy to have you here today. And I know so many people are being touched by this video. So thanks for being a part of this.
It's been my pleasure, Annette. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone for watching today and letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health. Now, yes, that includes understanding the 3 principles for eating the food that God called good, eating it as close to the way he designed it, not letting any food become an addiction. But yet when our microbiome is out of balance, it's in dysbiosis, we do have those cravings for foods like, you shouldn't eat it, but you can't stop. That's a microbiome imbalance. And so we can correct that balance, not necessarily by medications. They will never correct the total balance, but by the right foods. So we start getting the GABA, the serotonin, working for us, but also by supplementation that is directly designed for this purpose. And there are probably millions of different supplements out there to choose from, but these are specifically designed for this purpose, to heal the microbiome, to connect it with the brain so that you have that cognitive function, and just so you can even just praise the Lord even more. So thank you for watching. Please hit the like and the subscribe and stay connected. And I'll put links to everything we talked about down below. Thanks for watching.
Hello, I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, and I'm excited to personally invite you to our Biblical Wellness Retreat, October 3rd through the 5th. In 3 John, it says, I pray you may prosper and be in good health. Well, today's families are struggling with cancer, diabetes, autoimmune issues, viruses, learning issues, infertility, and so much more. Where is the answer to being in good health? In John 15:16, it says these words, whatever you ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. I know you're praying for answers, and I know you're praying for health. Well, my team and I are here to help you see the answers that God has given. The foods that help the body to heal, the design of the cells, and why different foods bring healing and other foods do not. We even have Dr. Jay Hitson coming to share about the inside view of the blood and why that matters so much in our body when we're healthy and when we're not. All of this is to bring you answers that you're praying for at a retreat so you can have fun, you can learn, you can spend time praying, but also we always have fun, food, and fellowship. When you're ready to reclaim your health, join us at the Biblical Wellness Retreat this October 3rd through the 5th, and we have very limited seats, so please don't delay. Click the link down below.